What's poppin', y'all? This is Deidre with One Shot Game. Man, you already know how the motto go. You get one shot at life, but a lifetime to learn all the game you need to help improve your life. The choice is yours on which route you choose to take. Now, as I always say, you get two choices: the ability to faithfully settle in the life that has been set out for you, or the ability to pave a path towards your destiny. That choice is also up to you. So before I get into the title of my video, I want to say a big shout out to all my supporters. You guys are great. And even the ones behind the scenes, I see y'all too. So look, the title of this video is going to be on the fact that that's why I feel it's very important to do your research on the science behind energy, like especially now, currently in this generation, in this timeline, but from a credible source. You know what I'm saying? Because there will be people that will lead you in the wrong direction for their own satisfaction, and that's just being able to look at understanding the darkness comes with the light. You know what I'm saying? Everything can't be rainbows, cherries, and sprinkles all the time. You got to be able to look at the opposite side of it. And the reason why I say that is because for me personally, I never knew that envy, jealousy, animosity, and insecurity is a real thing, especially amongst the people that are real close to you. You know what I'm saying? The ones that you spiritually attract to yourself, as far as friendships, relationships, family bonds. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, growing up, I never, and when I say never, I mean I never ever was friends or in a relationship with someone or looked at my family members as someone to be jealous over, or you know what I'm saying, have animosity or insecurities about. Because what I seen was a side of me, you know what I'm saying, possibly on the downside and the upside, meaning if they were depressed or going through something, you know what I'm saying, I could see that in you. And just because I never had animosity or jealousy towards you doesn't mean I've never not understood the ability to have an emotion of feeling depressed, because I have. You know what I'm saying? So you would think that since we have some type of connection formed or bond formed with each other, that we will be able to bounce that energy off of each other to help each other grow. Like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe at different times at different speeds, we may be able to climb out of depression, you know what I'm saying? Or climb out of making decisions based off of emotion, right? But because I see that in you, it's no jealousy or animosity if I happen to overcome it. Like I swear to everything I love, I've never looked at anybody that I formed a connection with or had a bond with like that. But what I recently discovered is that in this new energy we in, I highly underestimated people a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because oftentimes what people fail to not understand is that the people closest to you, depending on how they truly feel inside, which is not something that's put on display. It's usually hidden, and it comes out in aggressive, in the fights, you know what I'm saying, in the side comments, you know what I'm saying, and the things people say, in the side eyes, that will show you that their spirit is not what you're getting in the flesh. You know what I'm saying? You're getting someone who's pretending to be a certain version of who, you know what I'm saying, they want to be, but not who they truly are. Because if you were someone that was displaying your whole self from the gate, it wouldn't be none of that. You know what I'm saying? And I had to figure that out the hard way. And in the beginning, me not realizing that, sometimes people are in your life to teach you something, but not to stay. I didn't understand that. I thought that me forming bonds with certain people due to us having a soul connection somewhere, we were supposed to be around each other for life, to be able to balance out and tip the scales, you know what I'm saying, in future projects and relationships. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, in everybody I had a bond or connection with, I watched and I observed. There is something that they were better at than me, or something I was better at than them. But me being able to learn from them, you know what I'm saying, was going to help push me into the right direction. But again, I had to realize and understand that you can't learn from people that are faking a version, you know what I'm saying, of not who they truly are, but who they've observed and monitored. Because their spirit of the person that they deal with in the mirror and who they are when they're alone and by themselves is a person that doesn't love theirself enough to be able to be happy for someone else. So that spirit, when you elevate spiritually, you know what I'm saying, is going to show animosity and hate, you know what I'm saying, and insecurities. But the reason why you probably weren't able to see them is because if you're a person that doesn't move that way, oftentimes your spirit could be here on earth to transmute negative energy into positive energy, right? So you'll be blind to their shadow side of who they are, which is hidden in the darkness. So you'll never understand or realize who they truly are, you know what I'm saying, until you start to pay attention to their patterns and how they act around you, you know what I'm saying, and how they respond to certain things. That'll give you an understanding of who they are spiritually, you know. But I promise you, I never, ever, in none of my social circles was jealous or envious or showed any type of hate towards those people, because I promise you, I genuinely wanted to see these people become better. I genuinely wanted to see us all grow together in life. You know what I'm saying? And I think it was hidden like that for a reason, because I be thinking to myself, like, how in the world could have been so blind to understanding a person's true nature and true spirit? Like, they really didn't like me this whole time. You know what I'm saying? And I couldn't see it because, again, some people in the world weren't built like that. They weren't built to, you know what I'm saying, take their pain and what they went through in life and harvest it in their spirit to where they project and see people as objects, meaning I will take something from you. If you can't give me that, I don't deal with you. It's not more so or less us coming together to try to figure out how to use the assets that we have and work together to figure out how to tackle this thing called life. You know what I'm saying? So because I'm able to hide my deepest insecurities by, maybe I might have more than you. You know what I'm saying? I might, you know what I'm saying, be happy on this day. I might, you know what I'm saying, treat my kids like this. You know what I'm saying? And I know that there are some days when you fall apart or some things you're not strong in. Those will be the things that I hide behind. You know what I'm saying? So you wouldn't be able to see my shadow side. Listen, baby, I tell you, when I got to see people's shadow sides for real, and I got to see who they really were for real, you wouldn't even believe how these are people who went through the same things that you went through, but it turned them. You know what I'm saying? As whereas it didn't do that to you. You absorbed it, you took it on the chin and figured out a strategy on how to tackle life because those things were out of your control. These people took it and consumed it, you know what I'm saying, and egged it on by being around it, you know what I'm saying, and painted a narrative for everybody to see who really couldn't see who they truly were, you know what I'm saying. And you wouldn't even believe how these people got the validation they wanted, they got the credit they wanted, they got the money they wanted, because people really couldn't see who they really were for real, you know what I'm saying. But it's almost as if I kind of like how the universe put us in a real situation, because when things get stripped, those people can no longer hide behind, you know what I'm saying, the things that they use to cover themselves. True personality had to be revealed. And then that's when you get a chance to see, damn, you be, hey, I swear to you, I was flabbergasted. Like, there is absolutely no way I would have ever thought or been able to see that behind the scenes, you secretly didn't like me. When I left your presence, you would talk about me to others just to boost up your morale, to make yourself look good. You know what I'm saying? You would put down my life and what I'm going through to boost up who you are as a person. I never would have thought in a million years that is what was going on behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? And I promise you, no one is exempt. Those titles that they put on people, you feel me? Just I feel as if is something to help you be more comfortable. You know what I'm saying? But people are people, and it's either you real or you not. And when you real, you go through life. You gonna experience it. You connected with these people on a soul level, because most of the time, all the soul wounds that they have is connected. But see, the difference is they let it overcome them. They let it turn them. You know what I'm saying? And they started being janky to anybody that was not on what they was on. If you was on what they was on, it doesn't mean they wouldn't cross you when you stepped down. It just means that it was harder for you to be able to see them because you was on what they was on. You know what I'm saying? But again, life has a awkward way of twisting and turning at times and in ways that's unpredictable. And that's when you get a chance to really see who is really real and who's not. Listen, I come from a city where at one point in time, everybody was claiming that they real. That shit, they ain't no more. Ain't nobody just walking around saying that shit no more. Yeah, because truth be told, you really wasn't who you portrayed to be. You know what I'm saying? Your true colors were exposed the moment you couldn't hide behind the things that everybody glorified and went after. You know what I'm saying? Listen, let me tell you. Once you start to realize that, it's almost it's astonishing to know that people really close to you, you know what I'm saying, really envied you behind the scenes, really did everything they could to talk about you, to see your downfall in life. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, if they were in relationships that didn't work and you got in a relationship where someone loved you and really made you happy, they did everything they could behind the scenes to shit on that. And people don't be understanding that could play a big part in why your relationships don't work out. Because of you not really being able to see people for who they truly are. You know what I'm saying? Even though you've seen the signs, you just ignored them. Because again, I'm one of those people that wanted to see the best in people. Not no more. You either got to be aligned or you not. You know what I'm saying? But back then, so not realizing that those people really wanted to see my downfall. So anytime you leveled up or you had something that they wanted and it was going good, all that spiritual talking, all that putting down, all the things they thought about you in their head was used to portray negativity into a situation that they may not feel the best in. Listen, always monitor and observe when you're around people that care about you and y'all get into an environment and it's almost as if the world stands still because ain't nobody saying nothing. People are on their phone or they just sitting there not saying anything. They're observing your situation. They're trying to take out what they can knock down. You know what I'm saying? And so when they go around somebody else, they'll use the negative aspect of it to try to knock you in a worse position. Even though you may think they coming in to try to help. Nah, that's just the, what's it called? The illusion they use. Let me come in a bad situation, make it seem like I'm going to help, but really I'm coming to be an observer of the situation. So I could see what I could be able to talk about and put down to hope that you do worse. You know what I'm saying? Because really, my spirit doesn't want the best for you because I'm not happy inside myself. But since I have the ability to cloak it around people, you know what I'm saying, with good energy, you'll never know. Listen, that had to be one of the most obscene things that I came to realize currently in this world today. You know what I'm saying? Because, again, like I said, I don't care how bad I've ever done in my life. I never hated on someone else. I never was jealous of someone else. I never had any secret animosity towards anyone. You know what I'm saying? For me personally, it'd just be observing and looking at their life like, listen, I'm cool. I don't want to deal with that. But that doesn't mean I don't care about them still. You know what I'm saying? I'm still going to rock with them. I'm still going to be there for them. But I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? If they going to do that, that's fine. But I'm not going to sit up here and be jealous. Maybe it may not be my time in life to have what you got. You know what I'm saying? But again, it was the realest observation I've ever had in my life to know that people around you could have this secret type of animosity. You know what I'm saying? Because they turned. to the dark side, not realizing that the reason why it's probably an easy connection with you, or it's easy to talk to you, or it's easy to rock with you, is because somewhere in both of our souls we have the same wounds. The only difference between the both of us, or the group of us, is the fact that I still gotta live in life. I'm not gonna sit around and take the things that happen to me and hurt me and ponder on them and figure out who to hate because I'm still hurt by it. As whereas those people oftentimes didn't know how to heal it or get over it, and they hid it. So trust and believe, when your energy radiates high and people love you and care about you, you know what I'm saying, and know the person you really are for real, you don't really even understand that secretly behind the scenes, they could be hoping that you don't succeed, hoping that you don't grow, hoping that your life turns out like how theirs is, because they're people that are not happy. They just have a better chance at hiding it under good energy. Because you got to think about it. If I went out into the world and I just wasn't happy, I wouldn't be able to form no connections with nobody. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even be able to be happy, because I would be displaying who I really am on the surface. And then it comes to a point where it's almost as if, like, maybe it's time to heal those wounds. Maybe it's time to stop trying to let those wounds be the dictating factor of your life. Because if you think about it, everything has an explanation. You can either paint a different version of what you want it to be because you don't want to believe the truth. The truth hurts. Nobody likes it. But if you actually look at the truth and understand that everybody moves in life that's beneficial for them, maybe a wound that you feel was directed to you won't hurt so bad, because you may think it was directed to you. But what if that person was only projecting a part of them that doesn't love who they are? You know what I'm saying? It tends to have you think about the scenario a little bit different. Like, okay, listen, I thought that they were targeting me on purpose, but now that I have a chance to reevaluate, they weren't. They were just mad or going through something, and they projected onto me for whatever they was going through. You know what I'm saying? And the more you see the pattern, the more it gives you an understanding. Listen, there's nothing wrong with giving people chances, but if you give people too many chances and they still keep being the same person, that's who they are. You know what I'm saying? And they won't look at an opportunity to change. What they will do is just figure out a way to get smarter in who they are. You know what I'm saying? And it's up to you to understand how you gonna move when it comes according to them. You know what I'm saying? But again, I think it just took me a very long time to understand that some people will be awarded the ability to realize that some people are just for a season. You know what I'm saying? They're not meant to stay in your life. But you got to think, there are people who will continue to be the same just to keep those same people in their life. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't wake up to who you are, you won't know the difference. And they'll be sucking you dry spiritually while they are, you know what I'm saying, out here thriving, or at least they think they are. You know what I'm saying? Because they haven't understood the concept of how life really truly works. You know what I'm saying? And listen, that it blew my top off to have to come to the terms of realizing that a lot of people in the world move around like that. Not a lot. I think all people. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's best to not form connections with people just because they say a few words to you, or because they look at you a certain way, or because, you feel me, they do this to you. Don't do that, because you could be setting yourself up for failure, because that's their intention. You know what I'm saying? Release control, release connection. You know what I'm saying? And form a true bond with, you know what I'm saying, someone that is reciprocating that same energy back to you. And give it time. You know what I'm saying? Because again, like I said, people can reciprocate that energy, but given a certain circumstance or a situation, they turn on you. And it helps you in a way, because then you start to realize that just because someone has a conversation with you, or, you know what I'm saying, looks at you a certain way, or has a few interactions with you, doesn't mean you're meant to form any type of situationship with that person. You know what I'm saying? It just means say what you need to say, be who you are, and keep it pushing. You know, but listen, I was completely really shocked, because in my mind, I thought that the people I formed connections with, I thought the people that I grew up around You know what I'm saying? And the people that were connected to me through blood would like always be around. You know what I'm saying? Because I never seen anyone as competition. I seen how could we learn from each other to be able to grow, because life is hard in general. So now it's almost as if my introspection comes from, you know what I'm saying, observing life, being able to see it in a way that everybody can't see it in. You know what I'm saying? And that is how I navigate how to move in this world. You know what I'm saying? Take your emotion out of shit, use logic, but go with your heart. It's complicated, but if you know who you are, it's not complicated like you think it is. You know what I'm saying? But listen, that one shocked me, because I never knew how real those traits were in someone's spirit until, again, like I said, we were faced with a real situation. And you got to see people's true colors for real, because a lot of the times the real situation was the very thing that makes them depressed on a daily. You know what I'm saying? They just, like I said, covered it up with, you feel me? You can make a person fake like a good person if you give them everything in the world, but it's not until you analyze and see from a different perspective that you see the true them for real. Your spirit can't hide forever. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care how good you're doing in life. At some point, your spirit will show. And when it does, people will get a chance, a version to see you for real. You feel me? Hey, it's tricky, but it's so real. That one just threw me for a loop, because I was like, damn, I never looked at anybody like that. I never, you know what I'm saying, pictured any of those traits inside the people I was dealing with. Because I had such a big heart, I thought that, you know what I'm saying, we were genuinely operating out of the same heart space. You know what I'm saying? But the struggle changed them. You know what I'm saying? The mental distress changed them. And when they seen someone who could potentially have a way out, the demons rose. You feel me? On high volume. And you got to see those people for who they truly were. You know what I'm saying? And it amazes you when you get to figure out and understand who people really are for real. And listen, people will give you signs. Your older people, listen, they'll tell you the truth, they'll let you know, but you just don't want to believe it. You don't want to see it in that way. You always want to see it in a way where life is already hard, so why are we not figuring out how to grow together? But understanding and realizing that life is not like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's so mainstream now. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I be conversating with people, and I be want to say, listen, I see everything you hiding under. You can't fool me. I see it all in your face, in your movements, and what you do. You know what I'm saying? It's really a deeper, darker side to who you are that could be holding you back in your life. But you're portraying a certain version on the surface. You know what I'm saying? To keep that version of you hidden, so that you never have to deal with it. And by doing that, that is how those traits form. That's how jealousy forms. That's how negativity, insecurity forms. You know what I'm saying? Because you're letting that dark side fester instead of being able to, you know what I'm saying, be a real one and be like, you know what, this shit fucked me up. I'm not dealing with it no more. I'm moving on because I deserve better. That's how you heal. But if you stay over there and don't hide it and be at home in your bedroom thinking about all the negative shit, but you still egging it on, you slowly fester that hate and negativity. And once you get in there, it's kind of hard to get out. You know what I'm saying? So listen, if you don't know what it is, I just told you. Please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe.